Oleksandr Usyk, the once undisputed cruiserweight king of the world, hasn't had the best 2019, has he? He is a perfect example of the way you can just completely lose momentum in boxing. Sometimes for just a variety of reasons. In his case, an injury, I think, derailed an interesting fight against Carlos Takam. Takam is a guy who has the kind of physical strength and presence in the ring that I think would have forced Oleksandr into places that he may not quite have been used to at cruiserweight, but it would have probably squeezed more juice out of the lemon, and we would have seen him moving around, punching. We might have got a better idea of his punching power. Instead, he fights Chaz Witherspoon, and it just wasn't a great performance, wasn't it? It didn't leave the audience buzzed and thinking, right, when are we seeing Oleksandr again? After being the runaway winner of the Fighter of the Year for 2018, he has a virtually, just utterly forgettable 2019. He really does have to make a shape for a guy who's 33, 34 now, and he relies on the feet and the speed and the reflexes. He's not one of the big boys at heavyweight, so he relies on more of those youthful traits. But he's in a bit of a conundrum in the sense that while he has to get a move on because of his numerical age, he doesn't want to rush into something yet. He hasn't really fought anyone good at heavyweight, has he? He needs to get a little bit grounded in this division, I feel. I've seen that Anthony Joshua is up for fighting Oleksandr for maybe his first or second fight of 2020. He's like, yeah, I'll take that. It'll be a big fight for him. I think it would be a bad idea for Usyk if he fights Joshua for his next fight. Unless he can see something like Sugar Ray Leonard against Marvelous Marvin Hagler, and he's just there outside of the ring apron going, I know what to do with this guy. Unless he has that kind of conviction and understanding, I think he needs to get a bit more of a warm-up against a top 15 guy. Consider Evander Holyfield, who he's often compared to. Evander Holyfield had 6 fights at heavyweight before facing a very overweight and uninspired James Buster Douglas. He started against James Tillis, I think, in 88. 6 fights, 1 against Pinkland Thomas, and a really good gut check of a fight. Brilliant heavyweight fight, if you haven't seen it, against Michael Dokes. I think that one was 89. Really good, I think, 10-round fight. Holyfield got hit with a lot of shots, came back and won in the 10th round. So he'd had an official welcome into the division, if you will, before he went for the title. I think the perfect fight for Usyk would be a fight against a guy who really needs another big fight in his career right now as well. Kiwi Joseph Parker, who was supposed to fight Derek Chisora, but he was bit by a spider. I never found out what spider that was. Does anyone know which spider it was? That's what I was interested in terms of toxicity levels, but I was never told. But Parker is not really doing anything with his career right now. He's still young. He needs that second or third wind. A fight against Usyk would present both of them with what they need. Parker the chance to get right back to the top. And Usyk, a fight against a tough, capable, speedy heavyweight with pretty big dimensions to get him ready for the challenges against a Joshua, a Wilder or a Fury. Surely he can't have a worse year next year than he did this year. It's got to be onwards and upwards here. But don't fight Joshua straight away. Let's see a fight against a top 15 guy, and then we can really see if Usyk has got it at heavyweight.